I don't see myself first and foremost as a photographer.
One of the things that has really interested me about your work is the variety in your work.
Even though the work is apparently different, it comes out of me. It comes out of my heart.
Is it just that you can see something in your mind and then you know that that's going to work?
My wife has said many times, that image, that print looks nothing like the original scene. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I saw. I think it's important for anybody who's creative to sit down, evaluate their creativity, and discover, why do I do what I do? The earlier you learn that life is architecture, it has shape, it has form, I think the more joyous their life is.
The art that's produced is a product of the life that sits behind it.
Right.
Can you describe any principles that you've discovered in your photography that provide patterns generally for life?
Well, I wrote down a number of things on that. I think it's interesting that historically artists have been looked upon by what they create. And you really don't know them real well in a personal sense, or what are their values, what's their philosophy of life. I've never had anybody ask me these kind of questions, so it's made me think a lot.
Before we jump into this conversation with Michael Schultz, I thought it would be good just to tell you a little bit about him. He's a photographer with over 50 years of experience. He lives in Northwest Arkansas. He's a Guggenheim Fellow, and his work is represented in public and private collections all around the US. I've personally known him for over 10 years now, and it's been incredibly exciting seeing the work that he produces. I recently got the opportunity to go out with him on one of his photo shoots, and also to sit down with him and talk with him about his approach to photography, but also about the lifestyle and the patterns that he's discovered that reach far beyond the photos that he takes. I really hope that you'll enjoy this conversation with Michael Schultz.
I don't see myself first and foremost as a photographer. I see myself as a human being like everybody else. I see myself as having some degree of maybe a gift of sight, but it's not the major driver in my life. I grew up in a small village in upstate New York, went to college. The photography part came in probably when I was about 17 or 18. I had a chance to take some photographs inside of a high school situation. When I moved into college, I was at the University of Florida, and I picked up a few books and started looking at photography books, and something just clicked on. It was literally just a love of going out and finding things that were intriguing, things that caught my eye, things that caught my heart, and then reproducing them as best I could. And I've been doing that ever since.
One of the things that has really interested me about your work is the variety in your work.
Right.
And just as a kind of brief summary of that, you've got things like landscapes, you've got abandoned buildings,
Right.
You've got active forgeries, you've got quarries, you've got portraits in there as well. I'm interested in how has that happened? Was that intentional? And why do you feel like there's such variety inside of your work?
I would have to say that even though the work is apparently different, and it is, it comes out of me. It comes out of my heart, and that's the unifying factor. No matter whether I'm working in a steel mill, photographing workers, or whether I'm in the depths of a canyon in Utah or in Germany photographing, an abandoned foundry. it doesn't really matter. I still approach it with the same sense of I want to see or produce something that's kind of mystical, kind of magical, kind of makes you question, makes you enjoy the scene, makes you see the thing behind the thing. And so I see them differently, but I don't see them differently.
Yeah. Well, I think it was interesting. We went out and did some filming recently in Kansas City, and I was really impacted by how it was like you were drawn like a magnet to take a specific photograph.
Right.
Like it wasn't like
Right.
you were sitting there for like an hour trying to
Right.
figure out exactly what to take.
Right. Right.
And there was clearly something that you knew that you were going after. Is it just that you can see something in your mind and then you just know that that's going to work, or how does it work?
It is intuitive. I know it when I see it. And I move around until I feel like it's right. And the phrase I've always used is, it needs to work. I need to get in the position and photograph from a certain angle or perspective, a certain lighting condition, because it, quote, works. And that's why I've had a number of people ask me, well, what does that mean?
Right.
And I just say, it works. I don't have a, it's just something that I just know is right. I know when it's right.
Are there ways that you've learned to facilitate being able to then take the shot?
Well, a lot of times you think you're going to go in and take the shot. And then the light isn't right, or what you thought. Your mind can kind of play tricks on, at least my mind can. It can think, oh, this is great. And then you see it a second time and you're like, no, it's not so great. And there have been many times I've walked away after a second look. But there's many times when I go back to the same spot and photograph the same thing over in different seasons and different light. And that's really rewarding. I really, really enjoy that, because all of a sudden it's like, oh, I didn't see this before, and this is good. I'm gonna make an image here, and I wasn't expecting to find anything. And there's also a sense of design that has to come inside of capture. I have to know this is going to work. I need to leave that out. That's going to be distracting. I need to concentrate on what is the thing that's really pulling me into this scene. And again, that's by feel. That's not by so much analysis. I don't have time to sit there and look at every twig and branch or window pane. I just, you know what it is. You know what it is when you see it, or at least I do. And I do get fooled sometimes, and that's part of the learning process. You're learning how to see what the camera sees, learning your ability to manipulate the image, so to speak. That's a big part of photography. My wife has said many times, that image, that print looks nothing like the original scene. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I saw. I saw the potential inside of it. And to me, that's part of capture, seeing the potential. So,
And yeah, it's interesting. How have you developed that over the years? That ability to look beyond what's there?
Right. Well, you learn it by doing it. You learn by your successes and you learn by your failures.
Right.
Probably more so your failures.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a part of the philosophy of my life. Is nothing is a defeat. Nothing is a failure. It is an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
I think sight is something that can be taught. I think for some people it's more natural, but I think for many people, and probably most people, sight can be taught. It can be it can be imparted into a person's life if they want it, if they want to see.
There's clearly a drive in you to take photographs.
Right.
but it's not a controlling drive.
No.
And you've found a way to manage that or govern it so that it doesn't become the dominant thing in your life. Was there a time where that wasn't the case?
Oh yeah, very much so. When I first started, the first 10 years at least, it was photograph every minute I could get. Not healthy, really. Really wasn't healthy. And it falls into that thing of, I think is false, and that is because you have a gift, you have to nurture it, and it's the most important thing in your life. And I don't believe in that at all. I do not believe that. I don't, and I think I've proven that to myself in my own life. Gifts are for others, but it also has to be managed in order to have a round or a complete life. Something that's a cube and well balanced. And I was pretty rambunctious when I started.
You wrote some stuff and sent it to me before we filmed this, right? And one of the things I wrote down from what you'd written was, artistic pursuits are not meant to fracture us.
Right.
They're meant to fit into a wider world called life.
Right.
And I think that's what you're describing there, right?
Yes, exactly. Life is to be lived, and we're to live a full life. And I know that's a value that I hold. Life should be full. It's not always easy, but it's full. And that photography has just been part of my life. And will I photograph for the rest of my life? I don't know. I don't think that way. I go when I feel like I should go, and I'm going to enjoy it. And if I don't go. And that's refreshing. I really do feel sorry for the creative people that are just so driven by their gift. It's a gift. If it's a gift, you shouldn't be miserable. You shouldn't be, driven, to where, other parts of your life begin to become dysfunctional.
There is a sense of learning how to live with that thing that you've been given, do something with it, but also not let it control you. So I think what you're describing describes that, but it is a really challenging thing to figure out.
It's very challenging to figure out in some ways. I think the more or the earlier you learn that life is architecture, it has shape, it has form, it has to be built. And to me, the earlier that people begin to understand that and see it, I think the more joyous their life is. I don't believe in randomness. I think at one time I did. I don't anymore. There's nothing in life that's random.
Right. So then, if you believe that there is architecture behind something, then if you've been given a gift, a skill in something, then you have to ask the question: well, why?
Right.
Why have I been given this, and what is it meant to produce? There was a bit of pre-work that I asked you to do. And I think we've been circling around some of these things anyway, but the question I asked you was, can you describe any principles that you've discovered in your photography or the way that you've learned to photograph that provide patterns generally for life? So I think that's, like we've been talking about from the beginning, the art that's produced is a product of the life that sits behind it. And you've talked about and you demonstrated that there's a lot of things that you've have fed back in from your photography back into your life, but also vice versa from your life into your photography.
Exactly.
But yeah, what did you answer on that, or like what were some of the things that you were thinking about in response to that
Well,
question?
I wrote down a number of things on that kind of where I thought where photography intersected life and life intersected my photography. And it's all one thing now. It's all one thing. But I thought about vantage point and angle of sight. Where do you stand? What is your vantage? How do you see life? How do you understand the world around you? And that comes through inside of my photography. I'm looking, I have to find the vantage point that brings the most clarity to what I feel and what I sense, and has hopefully the strongest point of view that I can find. And I think that's true inside of life. You have to know you have to know there are boundaries inside of your life, things that you should and shouldn't do. And it goes way beyond just boundaries. The angle of your angle of sight. Who are you? I mean, I think people need to know who they are. They have to have some sight of how they were created. I don't mean just physically, I mean emotionally as well. So that was one. Timing and patience was another one.
Before you go on to that one,
Sure.
I think it's interesting. You were talking earlier about sometimes you'll walk around and you'll look at a scene from different perspectives.
Right.
And I can see that that's totally applicable to life, right? Of like you're in a certain situation.
Right.
And sometimes you just need to walk around a little bit and have a little bit of perspective.
There's perspective. Very true. Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So vantage point, angle of sight, and perspective. Yeah. Very good. Timing and patience. I mean, everything comes in its own time, has its own season. And you have to know that, I've found that in photography. There are times when I go and I'm like, I remember one year I flew to England and I had some specific images in mind that I wanted to do of the English landscape. And I wanted the trees in a particular way. Well, I came about 4 weeks too early. And none of the trees were like what I was expecting to find, And it was like, that was a tough trip. I just mistimed it. Didn't get the timing right. And then letting go of things that I cannot control has been a big lesson for me in photography. Boy, there have been many scenes I've either walked away or just as I was going to take the photograph, and this happens countless times, the sun comes out, or it starts raining and thundering, or the wind picks up, howling at 60 miles an hour, literally as I'm literally getting ready to, do the image. And you have to be patient.
Right.
You just have to say, if this is worth it, then we'll come back, or we'll do it another day. And the last thing I wrote down, failure is opportunity.
Right.
And not every photograph is a winner. Sometimes you can get fooled. You can think you've really got a winner, and when you start working on it, you're just like, oh, this doesn't have the life in it. It doesn't have the punch in it. It doesn't have the mystery in it. It doesn't have that spark of eternity inside of it. It's an okay photograph. And you have to learn from that. Okay, what was it? What was I drawn into? Should I have slowed down?
And I can see that that's applicable to life in terms of like learning how to manage and how to walk through life and not be broken by failure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not defined by what you do. That's not the definition of a human being. Not what you do.
Yeah. Who you're becoming.
It's what you're becoming.
So, is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should have talked about?
I think it's important for anybody who's creative to sit down and evaluate their creativity and discover, why do I do what I do? I think if I sat down and thought about it even more, there would be more reasons that I do photography than just myself. I enjoy sharing it. I enjoy watching people look at the images, and I can see there's something going off inside of their hearts and their minds and their perspectives on things. And I have to say the industrial work I've done, the letters that I've received, I said, thank you for doing this work. I have family members now that understand what I do and what my work looks like, because in these industrial spaces, it's illegal to carry a camera around and make photographs, and they don't allow that. And I had the great favor with a lot of companies to see things that aren't normally seen. So that was a big impetus inside of me to do the work. And when I received those little notes, they're little pieces of gold to me. I really cherish them. Yeah. There's just a simple enjoyment of walking into a scene and seeing something and feeling something that you want to capture, that brings joy and brings excitement and brings really a sense of eternity when it's really, really good. It's like I've touched something that slows me down. I've touched something that's made me look and think, ponder. It's something that makes me celebrate what's in front of me.